Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Grave Visitations here. So I'm actually on my way to the Nunn family cemetery. It's a private family cemetery nestled right beside the beach in Wexford here. So this is a glimpse in here of the old farm, what used to be the Nunn's house. So you can see the ruins of it there. So it was quite a large house, and it's now farm safety notice there. So they had a lot of land, the Nunns. You know, back in the day, these people, you know, would have helped Cromwell achieve a lot of things in battle, you know, helped him out, and he promised them land and riches. And they took a lot of land from Catholics, landowners, and they had no choice but to move out, give up your land. Hard times. So we're here at the old cemetery here in St. Margaret's, is called cemetery, and the Nunn family came with Cromwell and stayed here for 300 years. Captain Richard Nunn, officer in the Cromwell army, and his father John, a London merchant, and he contributed, John, towards Cromwell's campaign financially. And he was granted St. Margaret's House, which we just looked at the ruins of, and 2,000 acres of land. And the last member of the Nunn family to be born in Wexford was Major Anthony Nunn, and he died in England in 2013. So we'll go inside this cemetery here and read some history. So this is the old graveyard, I'd call it, because there's a ruin of a church just there. And it looks like they're actually doing something here in the graveyard. Sheets of polythene here. Whatever they're doing in that area, I don't know. Does anybody have any idea? Let me know in the comments below. Are they putting flower beds there? So there's a couple of graves in here, not many, but we'll get around and do them. There's a nice wrought iron railing one here, and a chest tomb. And you can see the chest tomb is just falling apart. So it's not possible to get in and read that one. It's kind of falling apart. But guys, I am going to be really, really quiet here, because look what's in front of me is a beehive, or a box for bees. So I've never seen that in a cemetery. Bees at work. Now maybe this time of year, I'm not an expert on it. I'm not sure, is there any bees in that at all? So buried here we have, sacred to the memory of St. George Richard Nunn, who died September 1903. We have another grave here, and this is erected by her husband in loving memory of Catherine Harriet Nunn, who died on the 15th of October 1925, joined by her beloved husband, Joshua Loftus Nunn, who died the 15th of February 1928. And we'll just go around and read the one on the far side, the other grave. If we can, try and read this. In loving memory of Mabeth, I think, Frances Nunn, who died December 1962. Also her only son, John Joshua Nunn, Lieutenant in the Battalion Irish Guards, and it just says there, killed on BOU Bo Auvkaz, Tunisia. If anybody knows that name, let me know. On the 3rd of April 1943, buried in Massacalt Cemetery, Tunisia. Also her husband, Joshua L. Nunn, who died in 1974. So we have a member of the Nunn family there who died in battle and is buried in Tunisia. Very interesting. So as we can see from the cemetery, or the graveyard I should say here, we can see the walls there, the ruin of the St. Margaret's house, what's left of it, and that was owned by the nuns. So they're buried near the home where they lived and right by the sea, and we can see Tusker Lighthouse in the distance is just straight ahead. So the nuns would have owned all this land surrounding this area here. And we can see they're growing trees in the middle of the graveyard just there as well. In honoured loving memory of Brigadier Richard Nunn, MC, the Royal Horse. Is that Deacon? Royal Deacon Horse. 1886 maybe to 1970. Also in love and memory of his son Richard Walter Nunn, and he died in 1924, and he was born in 1924, so he must have been stillborn maybe back in 1924. So it's an interesting old graveyard here, and a couple of graves for the Nunn family. And here we have in loving memory of William Richard Nunn, County Wexford, and Kilquaid, County Wicklow, a senior lecturer at Trinity College, Dublin. He was born on the 27th of July 1931 and he passed away on the 1st of November 1976, the youngest son of Richard Honor Nunn. So that's the old church. The old church ruin. So there was a church here at one time, and I'd imagine this church was used by the Nunn family, private church used by the family themselves. They used to come to service here. And we can see more of this set up along the perimeter wall here of the old graveyard. I'm sure they're planning something to plant flowers or something there. So inside the old church ruin we have this chest tomb. And it looks like it's the only one that's inside the church ruin area here. So I'm going to go around and see, can I read inscription that's on this. Now I can see a Joshua Nunn on it here, name, Colonel in the army. I'd imagine the words are on it there, but it's kind of hard to read. And he departed this life aged, could be 31 years old. I'm just trying to see, can I read any other names in it? And these ones are hard to read, some of these chest tombs. The inscription wears away off it. And there's a stone on it here, whether somebody left that stone there. You see that sometimes people leave stones on graves. We have pieces missing from it here. It's almost like a jigsaw. If you put that back together, maybe you might be able to read. Yeah, so this is inside the old church then. The ruin here. And it is very picturesque, this old graveyard here beside the sea. You can see the grave we read just outside the church ruin there, the window. Beautiful scenery. So, a very wealthy family, the Nunns. And of course I think they're connected as well to, there's other family members of the Nunns buried in Castlebridge in County Wexford, in an old graveyard there as well. And they do have connections to a malt business, Malton. I believe it is a malt business they had, and connections there to the Guinness, the famous Guinness drink as well. And there is lots of space here for other interments. Whether that'll happen or not, I don't know. Maybe there's no more family of nuns left to be buried here. So the Nunn family came over to Ireland, took part in Cromwell's regime, got loads of land, and the only thing that actually I was thinking about was this whole graveyard here is very beautiful, but when you think about it, and I've come across a lot of places where you see very elaborate graves and elaborate mausoleums and vaults and stuff. And seeing that this was a private burial area here for the Nunn family, I'm kind of surprised they didn't, you know, with the mass wealth they had, they didn't build a huge mausoleum in here for family members, or maybe like a vault or crypt. Kept it simple. And you see a lot of people with lots of money, you know, building these elaborate tombstones and mausoleums with statues and everything on them. So guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. There's not much else to see here. Tiny little graveyard, but interesting all the same. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And I'll catch you on the next one.